It's good to see you. I'm glad to be out here. Thank you for the invitation to come on out. I'm Representative Joe Salazar. I represent the Thornton area. We have an awful lot of, there are a lot of plans to fracture the Thornton area, and our community has been rallying against that. And speaking about rallying, how about this election cycle, particularly in Broomfield? Broomfield passed 301. That is really putting it's putting the kibosh on a lot of the drilling out there. It was passed by Democrats and Republicans by a pretty good margin. And how about 300, which was the Green Roof Initiative up in Denver, right? So if you have a 25,000 square foot building, now you're going to plant it with solar paneling as well as with gardens and things of that nature, so that way we could be a little bit better towards our environment. Now, the reason why I asked to speak is because, an awful lot of what we're hearing here today is we're trying to deal with at the legislature through legislation. And I don't know if you remember, but a couple of years back, I'm the legislator that brought the oil and gas liability bill to deal with earthquakes, to deal with property loss and damage to life. And in particular, one of the things that we were looking at was the amount of decrease in property value when you have fracking sites like this one. So if you're within a 1.5 mile radius of a fracking site like this, expect your property value to go down 30%. That's your property value, that's your wealth that is being affected by this one industry. And so as I started looking about, well, how many other industries are affected by just this one? We look at the ski industry. We take a look at agricultural and farming industry. We look at the other aspects of our outdoor recreational industries. And so many other industries are affected by this one. And I don't believe the data that I'm seeing that it's only 2% of the water that's being used by the oil and gas industry. But even if we were to go off of just that 2%, let's remember that's 2% that cannot be reclaimed. If you are a ski industry and using water to do powder on the slopes, well, guess what? That gets reclaimed. If we're looking at the agricultural industry or the recreational industry, that water somewhere down the way gets reclaimed. This 2% water never gets reclaimed. We can't use it. It's crap water. And no matter how expensive it is to reclaim it, I'm not drinking it. We'll leave that to the governor who likes to drink fracking fluid, right? We have a few things that are happening this legislative cycle that you need to be aware of. I'm going to bring back the oil and gas liability bill this legislative cycle because when I brought it 2 years ago, Democrats and Republicans alike said, these don't cause earthquakes. Fracking activities don't cause earthquakes, but I'm not a stupid man. I'm pretty well educated and had been tracking that data from Oklahoma moving up this way, and we were seeing the effects of the injection wells here in Greeley itself, as well as in the Trinidad area. And so now the CU study has come out last week saying that yes, it does cause earthquake activities. We're going to bring that bill back, as well as strengthening the other aspects of liability that oil and gas engages in, such as explosion of houses, such as gas leaks. You saw gas leaks happening over here in Sterling that shut down the entire town. They had to evacuate the entire town back in May, and we're seeing gas leaks happening along schools. We're also going to see a siting bill coming up. Representative Mike Foote that has been his flag that he's been wanting to plant for a long time, to site these industrial areas and these fracking activities far from the property, not the doors, but the property of the schools as well as homeowners. These are things that need to happen, but you need to show up. The oil and gas industry on Wednesday said that they felt that they were being bullied. Right? I mean, we're talking about an industry that pays an effective rate of about 2% in taxes when they're supposed to pay about 7%, but yet they're the ones that are being bullied. This is an industry that's affecting so many other industries that add billions of dollars to our economy, but they're the ones that are being bullied, right? This isn't about being bullied. This is about people rising up and finally realizing that this industry has such a control over the state of Colorado and it's adversely affecting us that it's about time we start pushing back. That's not bullying, that's self-defense.
Yes. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we need you there. thank you very much for allowing me some time to speak. Mike, I love you. I think you're awesome. And yeah, just keep moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.